Guess what? The United States Coast Guard, they said swastikas, actually not that bad. We're going to say non-racist. Take it out of the hate speech category. A few days later, actually, guys, they are bad. We're going to put it back in that category. It's hate speech. Pretty clear. Put it up for a mess. In the 1920s, since obviously we need a history lesson, in the 1920s, the German Nazi Party adopted the swastika as its emblem. After World War II, the symbol became permanently linked to, well, Nazism, anti-Semitic doctrine, and hate generally against any non-Aryan group. Due to the association with the Holocaust and white supremacy and killings, Germany, Austria, Poland, Brazil, and France, they have banned public display of the swastika. They will lock you up. They will put you in jail if you play with them. Yesterday, it was reported that the U.S. Coast Guard would no longer be identifying the swastika as a hate symbol. And then, after extreme backlash, they've since backtracked on that decision. Why are we even doing this? What is this about? Who's checking for this? MAGA didn't even vote for this. The U.S. Coast Guard would no longer be identifying the swastika as a hate symbol under new guidelines set to take effect next Monday, according to the Washington Post. But an administration official is already calling it fake news. The Post reviewed documents laying out the new guidelines, which take effect on December 15th, and the swastika Nazi-era symbol will not be classified as potentially divisive. The Confederate flag and nooses are also reported seeing their classifications downgraded from the previous band of hate symbols. Confederate flags are not, however, allowed to be displayed under the new policy. There's more. According to the Post, a, quote, potentially divisive symbol being displayed should be investigated by a superior, and then that superior is to consult with the legal office. The new guidelines also reportedly require incidents to be reported in 45 days. There were no deadlines previously. Tricia McLaughlin, the Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs at the Department of Homeland Security, later called the Post report a ludicrous lie. Ludicrous lie. Okay. But the Coast Guard official anonymously spoke to the Post and expressed major concern about the new policy change. Quote, we don't deserve the trust of the nation if we're unclear about the divisiveness of swastikas. End quote. The official said, the official also took issue with the supposed 45-day deadlines, arguing the deadline could be potentially problematic. Why? Because service members are deployed. That's why. Real simple. Quote, if you are at sea and your shipmate has a swastika in their rack, and you are a Black person or Jew, and you are going to be stuck at sea with them for the next 60 days, are you going to feel safe reporting that up your chain of command, the official said? But see, that's the whole reason why the 45 days is like. All right, after extreme backlash, the Coast Guard reclassified the swastika and nooses as, once again, symbols of hate. The U.S. Coast Guard on Thursday issued a memo that reclassifies swastikas and nooses as, quote, hate symbols in a rapid about-face after facing intense scrutiny for a previous policy change, which downplayed their display as merely potentially divisive. The newest memo expressly prohibits the display of nooses, swastikas, or, quote, any symbols of flags co-opted or adopted by hate-based groups as representations of supremacy, racial or religious intolerance, anti-Semitism, or any other improper bias. It was released hours after the Washington Post reported that the Coast Guard had approved a policy that downgraded the way the symbols, which are some of the most recognizable emblems of racism and anti-Semitism, had previously been classified. The newest policy released yesterday says, quote, divisive or hate symbols and flags are prohibited. It lists swastikas, nooses, and other emblems that may have been adopted or co-opted by hate groups. They created a problem out of absolutely nothing. They solved the problem that was created out of absolutely nothing. And we are still left with the real problem of actual racism that they have not, will not, and have proclaimed won't address. All right, Senator, thoughts?
Do these people have anything to do, Doc? I mean,
Right.
they're
Right.
just digging in their little trunk of tricks, pulling
Yeah.
out stuff. I mean, but you know what? Thank God for that person in the Coast Guard who leaked this stuff out. It is not fake news. You know, this is real news. I'm glad that they were quick enough in this case, because they don't do it most of the time, to do a total about face and put those symbols back where they belong, which is at the top of the list of symbols of hate
That's right.
in the United States of America and in the United States, but you know, even in the world. But we only control what's rocking here. But Doc, I'm just shaking my head. They obviously don't have enough real work to do.
Yeah, obviously. Okay. Incompetence and the like. All right. Hopefully no update to that story.